2000s, a city built on sequels and superheroes in spandex. But somewhere in Austin, Texas, one director was cooking up trouble. Robert Rodriguez wanted to bring Frank Miller's brutal, monochrome noir graphic novel to the big screen. But there was a problem. Frank Miller didn't trust the suits. He'd seen too many of his kind gutted and left for dead by Hollywood. Rodriguez knew words wouldn't cut it. He pitched a video instead. He shot Miller's short. The customer is always right. Ironic. He's selling, and Miller's the customer. Josh Hartnett, Marley Shelton, black and white, razor sharp, dripping with style. Rodriguez wasn't asking Miller to sell out. He was inviting him to co-direct, to stand shoulder to shoulder, a mutiny against Hollywood's machine. Frank Miller said yes, and the rebellion began.
We got the breakdowns and the news for all the dedicated film crews. It's time for a deep dive, me and you. Very cool review.
That's how Sin City was born. It wasn't just another comic book movie, it was a creative rebellion. One that broke Hollywood's rules and forced an industry to take notice. Robert Rodriguez was already known as a rebel filmmaker. The guy shot his first feature, El Mariachi, for $7,000 and a lot of duct tape, then rode it all the way to Hollywood. He made a name for himself as a do-it-yourself director. By the time Spy Kids made him a household name for parents, he'd already built his own studio in Austin, Texas, Troublemaker Studios, so he wouldn't have to play by Hollywood's rules. Frank Miller, on the other hand, wanted nothing to do with Hollywood. He'd seen too many of his peers hand over their creations only to watch them get chewed up, softened, and spit out by executives. He was protective of Sin City, a book drenched in blood, betrayal, and cigarette smoke, and he wasn't about to sell it off for a cheap movie deal. Convincing him was going to be damn near impossible. So Rodriguez didn't try to talk him into it. He knew words wouldn't cut through Miller's armor. Instead, he rolled camera and shot Miller's short story, The Customer is Always Right, with Josh Hartnett and Marley Shelton as proof of concept. A slice of Sin City brought to life in stark black and white. And that's what cracked Miller's defenses. Rodriguez wasn't dangling Hollywood money. He was offering a faithful movie adaptation.
Someone from the comic world like Frank, who does what Frank does, need to come into Hollywood and suddenly start down here and move his way up. I think he should be right at the same level.
When Sin City finally went into production, it pulled together one of the most impressive casts in the mid-2000s. Bruce Willis, Jessica Alba, Clive Owen, Rosario Dawson, Benicio del Toro, and Mickey Rourke. As a fan of the graphic novels, it was surreal to see the characters step off the pages and onto the screen. The hulking brute Marv, brought to life by Mickey Rourke, under layers of latex and gravel, felt like Miller had sketched him into reality. Clive Owen's Dwight gave the nobility and simmering danger you expect from a man, always one bad decision away from disaster. Even the silent psychotic cannibal Kevin, played with eerie detachment by Elijah Wood, became one of the most unnerving presences in the film. Of course, there were deviations. Jessica Alba's Nancy was softened from her comic counterpart. In part due to Alba's no nudity clause, this meant we never got to see what Hartigan meant when he said Nancy grew up and filled out.
She grew up. She filled out. Nancy Callahan.
The real star wasn't the cast, it was the style. Shot entirely on digital cameras against green screens, Sin City was built from the ground up to look exactly like Miller's artwork, sometimes literally. Panels from the comics were created shot for shot.
It's a lousy room in a lousy part of a lousy town.
The black and white palette punctuated by bursts of red lipstick, golden hair, and blood splatters. It wasn't just an aesthetic choice, it was a mission statement. This isn't Hollywood's version of Sin City. This is Sin City. Bathed in harsh contrasts, jagged silhouettes, and inventive usage of negative spaces, the movie is dripping with atmosphere.
No sign of life. Has Rourke gone to all this trouble just to torture a broken old man?
The hard-boiled narration, terse poetic monologues laced with blunt observations, hard metaphors, and cynical musings only deepen the mood.
Aim careful and look the devil in the eye.
Every frame felt like Miller's fingerprints were still on it, and having him in the co-director's chair was the only way to ensure authenticity. Rodriguez knew that.
I'll be right out.
The lengths he went to convince Miller that the look could be achieved, the promise to preserve the dialogue, his willingness to share credit, and his insistence on Miller's involvement at every step. All this spoke to the deep respect he had for the source material and for its creator. Rodriguez was betting his career on the idea that Miller's world deserved to exist on screen without compromise.
Well, I'm gonna find that son of a bitch that killed you, and I'm gonna give him the hard goodbye.
The Directors Guild of America refused to let Frank Miller share credit as co-director. To Hollywood, Miller is just a comic book artist, not a filmmaker. Rodriguez could have shrugged and played ball. Instead, he resigned from the guild altogether. That single decision cost him big studio opportunities down the line. But it also proved his point. Sin City is about loyalty to the creator, not the system. The gamble paid off. Sin City grossed nearly $160 million worldwide on a $40 million budget. It kicked the door open for other adult comic book adaptations like 300 and Watchmen. Honestly, Rodriguez has earned my respect for his reverence for the source material, his faith in Frank Miller as a storyteller, and his unwavering passion to adapt the graphic novel as faithfully as possible. The fact that he was willing to stake money, time, and reputation, sparing no expense to bring this monochromatic dream to life, earns him a special place among the greats. As a comic book fan and a lover of cinema, I can honestly say Sin City ranks high on my list of most faithful comic book adaptations. The story behind its creation makes it even more special. And for that reason, Sin City gets a very cool score in my book.
That's the rules. That's the truth.
I'm VCR Guy, and this has been Very Cool Reviews. And remember, don't be mean.
Be kind and rewind. Turn it up, hit that play. It's a movie night the old school way. Cue the tape, feel the burn. Flashback fever, it's your turn. Leather jackets, sense and screams. We're digging through your wildest dreams. Very cool review. We break it down scene by scene, from classics to the weird and mean. No clickbait tricks or shallow lines. Don't be mean, be kind and rewind.